This microphone was only 10 bucks. And listening to this, you probably think that it sucks. But listen to it now. This isn't magic. It's just 5 proven tricks that can take any mic and make it sound tight. So make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you will be notified. Now that the intro's done, here's trick number 1. When it comes to getting a professional studio quality sound, your microphone setup is critical. First things first, you should never hold the mic with your hand because when you hold the mic, you're going to introduce a lot of unwanted noise. The best solution is to use a mic stand to isolate the microphone from movement. With the mic securely mounted, we've already eliminated one major source of noise, but there's more that we need to consider. Plosives. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. You can hear those harsh P's, right? That's because the microphone is catching the bursts of air coming straight from my mouth. The simplest solution is a pop filter. These are inexpensive and very easy to install, and they redirect the flow of air so they don't hit the mic. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. Booyah. No more harsh plosives, just perfectly clean audio. By using a mic stand and a pop filter, we've already dramatically improved the recording setup, reducing unwanted noise and making sure our vocal recordings are as clean as possible. Now that the microphone is set up, let's talk about room treatment. One of the biggest challenges when recording at home is dealing with unwanted noise, echo, and reverb, especially if you're in a room with hard surfaces like drywall and laminate floors. You can hear the room behind me as my voice bounces off the walls. To fix this, you don't need an expensive studio setup. All you need is some simple, affordable foam, and it'll make a world of difference. By surrounding our mic with foam, we can eliminate those unwanted reflections, giving us a clean and professional sound. Now you can't hear the room behind me, 'cause the foam has absorbed it all. In addition to foam, you can also do yourself a favor by setting up in a room that already contains reverb-absorbing materials, like carpets, couches, or beds. These soft surfaces reduce reflections, making your microphone sound crisper and cleaner. Now that we've got the room under control, we can move on to shaping the sound further with compression. Compression is one of the most powerful tools you can use to make your recording sound professional. It controls the dynamic range of your vocal, making the quiet parts louder and the louder parts quieter, resulting in a more balanced sound. To show you what I'm talking about, here's a vocal line without compression. This is a line that could use some compression. The loud and the quiet are far too dynamic. Let's even it out so it sounds more balanced. And here's the same vocal line with compression. This is a line that could use some compression. The loud and the quiet are far too dynamic. Let's even it out so it sounds more balanced. To apply compression to your vocal, all you need to do is add it to your vocal track's effect chain. I'm using Logic Pro for this, but this will work in any recording software that you use. All you need to do is dial in a few key settings. The threshold sets the point where the compressor kicks in, the ratio controls how much compression is applied, and the attack and release shape how fast the compressor reacts to the vocal. Now, I realize this can be extremely overwhelming if you're new to this. Thankfully, there's a bunch of fantastic presets that you can use to give you a great starting point. This is before compression was added. This is after compression was added. These kinds of small adjustments will make a huge difference in the quality of your recordings. And if you're serious about learning how to record music at a professional level, you should know I cover all of these techniques in much more detail inside my course, Spare Bedroom Studio. It provides you with a complete learning path from setup to recording to mixing and mastering, teaching you everything you need to know to get started. And it's currently on sale for just 99 bucks. So you should check that out, link in the description. Let's move on to shaping the sound further with EQ. EQ allows you to shape the tone of your vocal by boosting frequencies up or cutting frequencies down. The goal is to use it to remove unwanted frequencies and to elevate the ones that make your voice sound clear and pleasant. To show this in practice, let's take a listen to a vocal that could greatly benefit from EQ.
My God, this vocal needs EQ so bad, but we can fix it with just a couple EQ bands.
In this example, there is noticeable muddiness in the lower mid frequencies. It's far too bassy. To fix this, we can use a low shelf to lower the intensity of those low frequencies.
My God, this vocal needs EQ so bad, but we can fix it with just a couple EQ bands.
So that adjustment helped a lot. That being said, this vocal still lacks brightness. To fix it, we can use a high shelf to raise the intensity of those high frequencies.
My God, this vocal needs EQ so bad, but we can fix it with just a couple EQ bands.
With those two adjustments, we made the vocal sound significantly better, and that's the power of EQ. Most of the time, my EQ adjustments go something like this. I start by doing a strong cut to everything below 100 Hz. Those frequencies are far too low and don't add anything but muddiness to your vocals. Then I do a slight boost between 100 and 200 Hz, which will give the vocal strong presence and timbre. Then I do a slight cut between 300 and 1000 Hz to reduce muddiness in the mid-range. And lastly, I do a slight boost between 2000 and 4000 Hz to add brightness. Obviously, your EQ settings will need to be adjusted depending on your mic, your voice, and the room you record in, but by understanding EQ and using it, you're guaranteed to improve clarity while giving your vocal a professional polish. Next, let's add space and depth to our vocal with reverb and delay. These effects take a flat, dry vocal and make it sound big and full, as if it's in a real-world space.
Reverb and delay make my voice sound like it's in a space. Let me show you how it's done.
Just like compression and EQ, you'll just need to add a reverb plugin to your vocal track's effect chain. It's easy to get overwhelmed by these settings, but honestly, presets are the way to go. Almost every reverb plugin has awesome presets for different spaces, and they're a great starting point. In Logic's Space Designer, I'm a big fan of the Old Spring preset with the strength set to around -30 decibels. For delay, it's the same exact process. Just add a delay plugin and experiment with the different presets. In Logic's Echo plugin, I prefer the 16th note setting at around 10%. And when we combine it with reverb, it sounds like this.
This is what it sounds like when you add these effects. So take your own mic and go give it a try and subscribe.
When using reverb and delay, it's important to be careful not to overdo it. Too much can make your vocals sound distant and muddy and lose clarity. A little goes a long way, so I recommend keeping it subtle to maintain a professional, polished sound that still feels upfront in the mix. If you're looking for more tips and tricks for home recording, then you need to check out this video right here, where I lay out the 6 fundamentals of getting a great recording at home. You don't want to miss it.